October 4, 2004, the day everything changed. I never imagined I'd be telling this story publicly. But I'm at a point in my life where silence has become heavier than the truth. I'm unemployed right now, trying to piece together a future while still carrying the weight of a past I didn't choose. Maybe, just maybe, sharing this can help someone feel less alone, or help me feel less invisible. I was 15 years old when my world shattered. It was a weekday morning, around 4 a.m., when I was jolted awake by the sound of my sister's screaming. My heart was pounding, and I could barely process what was happening. Still half asleep, I stepped out of my room, and everything froze. In the hallway stood my father, gripping a bloodied kitchen knife. One of my sisters was on the floor at his feet, trembling. I froze in that moment, unable to move, as my father slowly walked toward me. It felt like he was going to hurt her, and I couldn't bring myself to act. My entire body was paralyzed, trapped in the weight of the situation. Panic and fear took hold of me, but I couldn't move. I just stood there, frozen in place, unable to break free from the horror unfolding in front of me. "What's going on?" I asked, my voice shaking, barely holding back the rising panic. I don't know," she cried out, her voice high-pitched and frantic, full of terror. "Where's Mom?" I asked, fear clawing at my throat, dreading what I might hear. She looked at me, her face pale and panicked. "I think she's in their bedroom," she shouted, desperation breaking through. My other sister had already run downstairs to get help from our uncle, who lived in the unit below us. I looked into my father's eyes, but he wasn't really there. It was like looking into a stranger's face. The man I knew was gone. His eyes were empty, lost in some dark place I couldn't reach. Our uncle came rushing in moments later. He saw the knife, saw the fear, and without hesitation, knocked the weapon out of my father's hand. It clattered to the ground, breaking the awful silence. That's when my father seemed to come back to himself, like he had just woken up. But the damage had already been done. My sister had called 911. I remember walking to my parents' bedroom, but I couldn't go all the way in. I stood at the doorway, frozen. Then, I saw her. My mother was lying face down on the bed. Her back was soaked in blood. And in that horrible moment, she turned her head slightly and we locked eyes. I was terrified. I didn't know if she was alive or already gone. I wanted to run to her, to help, to scream, but my body wouldn't move. I stumbled to the kitchen and stood there, numb, staring at the floor, waiting for something to make sense again. When the police and paramedics arrived, the house lit up with flashing red and blue. I stepped outside in my pajamas and was blinded by the lights and cameras. Reporters were already there, asking questions I couldn't answer. The next thing I remember, we were at the police station. The officers were kind but quiet. They asked us a few questions. I could tell, even if they didn't say it out loud, they knew this was a tragedy. Then they told us what I still haven't fully accepted, even now, our mother didn't survive. I was just a kid when it happened, and I haven't stopped carrying that moment since. It followed me into adulthood, through school, through jobs, through nights I couldn't sleep, and days I couldn't feel anything at all. My life didn't just change that night, it split in two, before and after. I'm still trying to rebuild, nearly 2 decades later. I've struggled to hold on to work, battled depression and anxiety, and often felt like I've been left behind while everyone else kept moving. Maybe this story will reach someone who needs to hear it. Maybe it'll help me find a little peace by letting it out. Maybe, in sharing what I've lived through, I'll find others who survived their own version of hell, and are still standing, too.